Former Clipper Corey Maggette. I'm Brian Seaman. Great to have you with us. Well, we mentioned the Clippers have been perfect here in the homestand, Corey, and they've done it every which way.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's 90.9% if you look at the record, but I'm just going to go back with it. ET phone home. This team has been absolutely special. When you look at just the play, the camaraderie on the floor, the ball movement, you want skilled decision-making players that understand when it's a key moment. With key blocks, you get a block down from Kawhi, and when it's time to pass the ball to the man who needs the ball. And you look at him, it's not the man, it's the myth. You just call him the claw. Whenever you need him, he's always there.
Well, there's no excuses when it comes to playoff basketball. None whatsoever. Even if you're missing players, there's no excuses because there's still 15 players that are on that roster that have competed this entire year, and you get an opportunity to get more minutes. So when you're thinking about this game, you have to do the little things. And that's the hustle plays, that's the deflections. You have to take quality shots. You got to take good shots. But you also have to, like you said, Don, compete, play with a sense of urgency. Just play like this is your last game, playing the game that you love. It is unfortunate that you don't have Kawhi Leonard. He's averaging 34 points a game and shooting over 55% from the field. But I had a chance to speak to Russell Westbrook's father upstairs, and he said, hey, listen, we can get this job done. And I totally agree. You know, it's going to take a collective effort. Now, it's not going to take just one guy to fill the role of Kawhi Leonard, but you're still missing Paul George. It's going to take a collective group to get the job done. So that means defensively you have to be sound. Offensively you have to be a little more aggressive. So in my opinion, I want to see like Nicholas Batum be more aggressive to be a scorer. These guys got to get back to being like a scorer's mentality because they're going to need that when you're missing 34 points.
So what's the key to success here for the 2021-22 season? Solve it for us now, Corey, go.
Well, I'm just going to get to your point. Like, they had an amazing playoffs, and despite Kawhi being injured, I thought Paul George really just kind of showcased who he is. He matured within that process. You saw a lot of guys stepping up. Reggie Jackson, another one. Nicholas Batum. Ivica did an amazing job rebounding the basketball. But it was a lot of players that contribute to get him over the next hump. And now, when you're thinking about this season, I always have to go to my little... I don't have my black book. I have the brown book this time. And it's X's and O's. So I wanted to look at some of those things. And this season, because you're missing one of the best two-way players in the game in Kawhi Leonard,
by the way,
it needs to be one-on-one defense. You have to guard your man. And in order to do that, you have to take pride. And the words that I would use this entire season is pride and enthusiasm. Defense is all about effort. And so if this team wants to be good while you have one of your most significant players out, it has to start on the defensive end. You have to guard your man one-on-one. We saw that Paul George actually kind of took that to heart. Last previous game, he had 8 steals. Terrence Mann had 4. So they're on the right track if they're going to do that.
What differently can they do with Devin Booker? Because it feels like they've given him a million different looks, and he's got a counter for all of it.
But you know that Ty Lue talked about it. They tried to do blitzes, fires. They did everything on him. But this is the guy, in my opinion, that has really, he's been hanging behind the radar. And you don't want him to get off because it's been a Devin Booker show.
Torrey Craig, we are well acquainted with. I've had enough of Torrey Craig. How about you?
Listen.
Biggest surprise in the series.
Biggest surprise for sure. I love the fact that he's done his job. You have to be a corner three-point shooter. You have to defend. When they get you the ball, knock down shots, and he has done it. He has truly, we always talk about X factor. He has been the X factor for this series. It's a few players in the league that I enjoy watching their post-game comments. And Devin Booker is one of those players because he is very detailed on what he's trying to get across. And his thing is, I'm always going to go back to the film and see what we can do better. He never bashes players. He says that I'm going to go out there and compete every single night.
And you love. I just thought I'd say that.
But
that's who I'm missing right now.
But you love his competitive fire. When you think about a player when he first came in the league, they thought he was only a shooter. No, that's not Devin Booker. He continued to work. He worked on his mid-range game. He got his body back better. But the thing about it is something that is just driving him to be great.
He came on the air. We were talking a little bit about Chris Paul, and I mean a very little bit, because he really, his skill set was not necessary in this one. He was more kind of sitting back and facilitating. His fingerprints were on this one tonight, especially in that fourth quarter.
Well, I had a chance to talk to a couple of people from the Suns as well, but I felt like Chris Paul, late in the game when the Clippers started to make a run, he started to say, hey, hold on, guys. I've been in this situation with this team before.
The other jersey.
Yeah, with the other jersey. We have to close this team out. And he started to make big-time shots. If you know what Chris Paul is doing in that corner, he uses that snake dribble to go back to that fade. Late clock shots, he made play after play. And tonight was a night when you get 19 and 9 from Chris Paul, but just a great effort from everyone on the Suns battling through, because you know it was still going to be a tough game against the Clippers.